This is an interview with Sheikh Spitfire, singer and bassist for Witchseeker, on Sunday, April 4th, 2021, by Nick Perkel. Now, Sheikh, tell me the story about how you got your first bass guitar.
How I got my first bass guitar. I had a very difficult upbringing when I get my first bass guitar, mainly because when it comes to music, I didn't have full support of this, so I had to get my first bass guitar. I'm like secretly. So I was like 17 at that time, and I was still in high school. So I had to like save up my lunch money and like some allowance that I get from like relatives and such. So I went ahead and like go to an online music forum. It was called soft.com.sg. Is where all musicians around Singapore just coming together and like find band members. So at the same time, there were people selling like musical gears. So I needed to get my first bass guitar like somewhere or somehow. Like getting a brand new one was just way too expensive for like a 17-year-old kid. So I got one. It was called like a TGM. It wasn't that fantastic because like when I first got it, it had like a little buzz on it to just practice. So when I got that bass guitar home, I was like shaking in fear because like my family isn't that supportive of me playing music. So I had to plan my way and like getting this bass guitar home and like hide it in the bedroom so that no one will catch me. So like when everyone is asleep, I will just take out my bass guitar and I'll just like practice it like 1 or 2 a.m.
Were you involved in any private music schools or have any private tutors when you were growing up?
No, actually, everything was just self-taught. Initially, I didn't pick up the bass guitar. I actually wanted to learn guitar at first, but upon touching one, it actually broke. My mom and my family didn't really support me in doing music, so I actually picked up drums by accident in school. So it was just one fateful day. I just sat by a drum set and then started hitting things, and then oh, this is how it works. And then what happened was I began to approaching people to teach me like some musical notes or like some lessons. But yeah, a lot of the guys were like too busy or too stuck up to actually give me some lessons. So I had to rely on YouTube and like learn from there. Thank God, at that point of time, I think it was like 2007. Yeah, YouTube was around and internet was pretty decent at that point of time. So yeah, no lessons, no tutorials, just relying on YouTube and like watching people.
How did Witchseeker form, and what was your original intention for the style of the band?
So when I formed Witchseeker, that was around 2012. The drive for me to actually form Witchseeker was actually a few reasons. One was I was moving from my old band when I was playing drums. Yeah, we were playing like mainly covers, but we were not doing anything original. So there was no progression from there. So I decided to just start my own band, probably just myself, because I couldn't really find the band members to actually work with me. So I wanted to just write, record, and just put the music out there on the internet. The style that I wanted to play was actually just heavy metal. Like all the metal bands around Singapore, like they were just competing in terms of being the most evil or the most brutal sounding band. It got to the point where it just sounded stale and boring, and I couldn't really accept listening to these bands anymore. So why not, I just decided to just form my own band and do my own thing.
Right now in 2021, what is it like being the lead singer of a metal band in Singapore?
uh I feel that I'm having fun. At the same time, it's exhausting because like apart from being a lead singer, you have to also be aware that you're like the front man and you have to front the band. Being a lead singer, yeah, it's quite a responsibility because you have to actually watch for your health, because having bad health means like you can't really go on stage, and I'm playing bass as well and while singing, so there's kind of like a double duty. So it takes like extra energy from you. So it's fun but yet exhausting.
Have things changed all that much dealing with the coronavirus at all? Or do you guys not notice that
Um,
much?
in terms of this pandemic that we are facing, actually, there's been a lot of significant change. For one thing, we haven't met. I mean, like, I haven't met with the rest of the guys like over a year because, like, due to restrictions and like some of us have working schedules. So when Corona hit us like somewhere in 2020 last year, it kind of affected us a lot, like in terms of our lives and our band. I was like we were in the middle of mixing the album for Scene of the Wild last year, and then COVID came in, and then we had to put that on hold for a moment. And then like some of us, our jobs got affected, so we sort out our lives. At the same time, in terms of playing live, all musical venues and pubs were actually closed till further notice. So till today, we are still, not doing anything much other than just moving on to releasing this album, which was initially supposed to be released last year, but it got pushed forward to somewhere this year instead. So yeah, here we are. But apart from that, I'm just making myself a little productive by writing new songs, probably for a new album. When I will release it, maybe in next year or the year after.
Now, what was the feeling in the air when you guys started working on Scene of the Wild? And was there anything unique or really special going on that was different than previous recording experiences?
Oh, definitely. In terms of writing wise, there's not much difference because most of I mean, like the writing is mainly done by me. So, in terms of recording wise, this is the first time that we are recording like as a full band, like having real band members for the first time. Because the first album, Brandon on guitars, so bass and drums at the same time. So it was just a two-man project at the time, and we were at that point of time, 2017, we just plugged in and record and just like wanted to put it out there. This time is a little different because we have four guys, and I was stepping in as the main producer of the album. So that was like another responsibility on my end, but it was fun, but it was still challenging. I had to keep up with the schedule with the guys, and some of us have a busy working schedules, and like some of us are actually, I mean, like two of the guys in the bands are actually dads, so that like to keep up with like taking care of their family at the same time. Yeah, juggling in terms of like keeping up with the schedule and like recording quality was quite a challenge, but yeah, we got it done pretty nice. And then COVID came in and kind of like ruined it for a while. Like that one got us delayed for about 8 months later to do the mastering. So when that mastering was done finally in like late September of last year, 2020, I began scouting out for record labels, to release this album because I find that the album for Scene of the Wild deserve more attention in terms of getting it beyond Singapore. So I wanted Scene of the Wild to actually touch all around the world.
For your band, what's the typical way you compose a song?
I will just go about my day like doing my own thing, and then like suddenly a riff just comes up in my head. If that riff kind of like lasted for the entire day and I could still remember it, I will keep that for a song. Lyrical approach. This one really it kind of varies because my lyrical approach can draw from any inspiration. So when it comes to Scene of the Wild, the lyrical approach was mainly the lifestyle and the experiences that I or maybe somebody else's experience that I was inspired with. So it kind of like jumbles up and links together and blends in well as almost as a conceptual album, I would say.
I really love Nights in Tokyo the best and can totally hear your love for the old glam metal scene and the new wave of Swedish sleaze metal in the choruses. Can you tell me about how you wrote that song and some of your favorite songs from both those scenes?
Thank you for liking that song, by the way. Yeah, I kind of like that song as well. This was the last song that I completed writing, and I believe this is the last song I like finished like recording the vocals. The inspiration for this song was mainly from the experiences that I came to know about from like my friends or other people who are just like in this day and age people are just like hooking up with like many different people to just like get it on and like maybe travel abroad to just having that one night coming back, and then just call it a day. And then there will be that one guy or one chick who will just felt something more than just like a one night of fun, you know. The story actually goes where after that dirty deed was done, they felt that kind of special connection. I mean, one of them feel that kind of special connection, but is longing for something more, but it can't be done because like there was like an agreement between each of them to not making it into something more than just like a one night of fun. Moral of the story of this song is to just tell like listeners out there, you know, if you want to go and like sleep around and hooking up, you got to be careful because like you might end up with somebody you really really want to be with but you can't, and you're going to feel really depressed about it if you can't get what you want.
What were some of your favorite songs from those scenes, by the way?
My favorite songs, I guess. I mean, like all of them. I. It's a little biased for me to say everything is my favorite, but I think the most. Okay, I have two that really stuck. That's really stuck in my mind. Is one was "Rock This Night Away" because it really felt like a anthem kind of music. I would say because I'm a big fan of music that has like big chorus and it's like an anthem where people could just remember and like sing along with. Like an example is like Scorpions, "Rock You Like a Hurricane," or Skid Row's "You've Gone Wild." I would say like big choruses, very memorable riffs. One more would be, I believe, it would be "Breakaway." That song was like really means something to me in terms of writing wise because that was done in literally in 1 hour, and like the lyrical concept was also done in less than like 20 minutes because it was mainly inspired about me hating my job at that point of time. At the same time, it kind of like relates back to a lot of my friends who are like dragging and like really hating their job. So it was like a really nice theme and like lyrical content to actually include in this album for listeners who are actually dreading about their day job, and you know, is to actually inspire them to actually break off from the mundane routine and like do something for yourself and get inspired daily, you know.
Can you tell me about some of the highlights you have as a musician with playing different locations in Singapore? And have you ever performed in other countries?
Mostly in Singapore, we've been playing in like like small clubs and pubs because technically Singapore is still a very conservative country, I would say. In terms of metal and like other subgenres of extreme music, it is still being looked down upon, but we are still working on that. So in terms of acceptance, it is not really welcome as of much yet, depending on the venue. So if we are playing on like probably a theater, a musical theater, I would say, yeah, we would normally get like a different crowds. And for those who are seeing us for the first time, will usually appreciate us because like they will feel like, oh, I didn't know there's a heavy metal band in Singapore. Like they've been like looking like all this while they thought, you know, Singapore heavy metal group, I mean extreme music scene only compromises of, you know, bands who were just like screaming their guts out, you know, just chugging riffs and distorted guitars. What I'm trying to say is Singaporeans here are still a little bit close-minded in terms of like finding local music around Singapore. So it kind of sometimes it takes them like a live show or a public showcase to actually check out on your band and actually becoming a fan of yours. In terms of playing other countries, so far we only have played in Malaysia and in Indonesia. We played in this festival called Hamasonic Festival in Indonesia. Yeah, that was the first time we ever played an overseas show, I would say, and it was the first time playing there. So we played like somewhere like around like noon at 12:30 a.m. and it was like scorching hot. And I remember like getting a heat stroke from it. But it was cool. People really liked us because like the Indonesian music scene, I would say, a lot of the guys there are mainly into like slam dancing or like extreme music, like you know, death. like I mean beyond death metal, like deathcore and death grind or brutal grind or whatever you call it. When we got on and played, we were really being accepted by the guys there because like we are not that heavy, but at the same time we are considered extreme for them to to actually dig us. So it was really cool to play in Indonesia for the first time and meeting new people and discovering new fans from there. Yeah.
Now, you got your album featured in an article from Decibel Magazine a few weeks ago. What kind of reactions have you gotten from that post, and were most of them American or a decent mix of various different countries?
Okay, firstly, we didn't really expect to be featured in Decibel magazine. So when I woke up, I think it was like last Thursday or sorry, last Tuesday if I recall correctly. And I saw the link that our record label actually tagged us. We were featured in Decibel magazine. I was like, holy shit, this Decibel magazine. We were really thrilled about it. And then the reactions that we got were mainly from American. I mean, it was like a mixture from America, South America, Europe, and then like yeah, it feels really cool to know that people from other countries really dig us. I mean, to be honest with you, when it comes to heavy metal or extreme music in general, it's mainly highly dominated by the Americans and the European scene. So for us, from an Asian country to step in to actually trying to be on par, I would say, with the rest of these bands, it was a little bit difficult because one of our ethnicity, some people will actually, truth be told, they will actually look down on Asian bands because they find that the kind of music will only be played by European or American bands. But it is still cool to know that there are people who are really accepting of the music that we played, regardless of where we come from and our ethnicity, I would say. So yeah, our fan base kind of grew, and people were like really like asking us for our albums and our vinyls, but unfortunately some of our stuff still got delayed thanks to the pandemic. So we really urge everyone to actually give us a little bit of time while the stuff are actually making their way over from customs.
You appeared on a cover of Troops of Doom with the band Balbarith. How close are you to that band?
Okay, that band we were actually pretty close. I mean, 7 years ago, I would say. Yeah, we were actually friends, but unfortunately, we had a fallout due to some reasons. I would say I won't really go into specific why actually we had a fallout. I mean, yeah, we had a good time. I mean, like at that point of time, just hanging out as just friends from different bands. However, as the years goes by, things didn't really turn out well, so we went our separate ways. But I just wish them, the best of luck in whatever they are doing right now.
You ever do any other tracks besides that one with other bands besides Witchseeker?
Currently, no, because I'm pretty. I have a whole lot on my plate when it comes to Witchseeker, because like I'm handling most of the stuff like writing music, writing lyrics, promoting, marketing, like basically everything I would say. So I didn't really had some time to actually do other musical projects with other bands. However, I was approached to actually contribute to writing lyrics for mainstream writing lyrics for mainstream music. In terms of like hey, do you want to make like contribute to writing lyrics for like some mainstream band, and then like getting some like royalties from there. And yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I'll just consider it in time to come when I have more time on my end. Yeah, but currently I'm just busy with Weed Seeker and like my other hobbies such as like gaming.
I see. You have any cool stuff in your gaming collection?
Oh, dude, I've been ever since COVID started. I've been like playing like more games lately. So I'm playing on Nintendo Switch. So yeah, currently I've been playing like a lot of Fortnite, a lot of thinking the Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I've been playing a few Mario Kart, Mario Party. I mean those games that you can play with like your friends online and such. I just got started with Assassin's Creed actually, and one more I got started with. The latest game I found was is this it's like a puzzle game, I would say. It's called Conduct Together. It's like a train. It's like a game where you had to like fix the rails on the trains, and you have like a time limit. I'm really into like puzzle games and like problem solving games. Like it's kind of fun. Yeah, so I'm actually looking more into like other games that I can play. So if you have like any recommendations, I could go check it out.
With me, keep in mind I'm a little bit older than you. I've got
Yeah.
some pretty cool stuff. I actually, like when I lived in Japan for a year, I actually got
Mhm.
myself a Neo Geo with about 7 games, and
Mhm.
that's along with my TurboGrafx 16, which I have like the CD add-on and everything like that. Those are like the two big treasures of my collection, and I don't bring them out very often at all. But I guess it's just kind of like King of Fighters 2001, Samurai Showdown 1 and 2. Those are what I play the most when it comes to my Neo
Oh,
Geo.
dude, King of Fighters, I'm a big fan. So I've always played King of Fighters. Like I we had like a slot machine like 2 blocks down, from where I live. So it cost like about 50 cents per game. So normally me and my friends back then after school, we would normally just go to this provision shop. They had this like arcade machine. We would play King of Fighters, like I think like about 2 3 hours, and I would just get a scolding from my mom upon like coming back home, like where you go, like I thought you got
Yeah.
kidnapped or something. Like no man, I'm playing King of Fighters downstairs.
What are your three most treasured albums in your collection?
Oh, okay, actually I have a lot of albums that in my collection. To pick three has been the toughest in this question, I would say. But okay, to start it off, the number one on my list right now will be the very best of Rainbow compilation CD, because that one belongs to my dad. So this was the first album that I discovered as a kid. I think like I was like 5 years old or something. So I remember that day I didn't went for my kindergarten school. I think I felt sick or something like that. Or I didn't really want to go to school. So I was just like browsing around at home. I think my mom was sleeping. So I just opened the drawer and I saw this CD, and like I was like, it was a picture of Richie Blackmore. He was like almost in flames, and I was like, what is this? So I decided to take it and then like put it in our like and back then we had this CD player. It was like a humble CD slash VCD player at that time. So when I put it on, the first track it was "Man on the Silver Mountain." That completely changed my life significantly. Like I listened from the first track to the last track. I think there was like 17 tracks altogether. I mean, like I gotta thank my dad for actually having this in his collection. Even though my family isn't really much of a musical musical supporting type. So the second one I would say it would be the Crimson Idol from WAPS. So I'm a big fan of Blackie Lawless, but the Crimson Idol really changed my mind in terms of it was the best concept album that was ever written in terms of the heavy metal world. I kind of like grew obsessed with that album from start to finish, because like there isn't any bad song on that album. It's something that you can listen over and over, and it is more than just like just a normal music album. I would say it is like you're listening to a movie. Yeah, and the third album in my collection, I would have to say would be Enforcer's Diamonds. Yeah. So when I mean I'm a fan of Enforcer, and thankfully, and I'm grateful that me and the guys still keep in contact in on Facebook. I followed them on MySpace when they first started off, and till today it kind of blew my mind. Like when I first discovered them on MySpace, I think in 2008 or something. I was just a fan of this kind of music, and then one day you meet up with these guys, and then like you know play a show together, and then like becoming Facebook friends. And Olaf from Enforcer actually mastered Scene of the Wild album for me, so that was pretty cool. When it comes to the album wise, I think Diamonds was the one that actually kind of like made me obsessed with embracing into the heavy metal world even more when it first came out. So from top to bottom, I didn't really skip any track from it. So it was kind of that. It's one of those albums that kind of like changed my life, and also having that auto signed by all of them is also like a treasure for me.
What was the most wild adventure for you getting to a concert?
Okay, the most wild adventure for me was, I believe this was in 2013. This was watching Metallica for the first time. Apparently, Metallica came to Singapore. Well, this was the second time they made their stop here in Singapore. I mean, like the first time they ever played here was 1993. That was like during the Black Album era, and I was like 1 year old, so I wasn't really aware of Metallica. Yeah, so back then in 2013, I remember it was one hell of an adventure because back then in 2013, I just got enlisted in serving my military service. So I was like about 2 months into it, and I remembered that day. It was a Saturday. The concert falls on a Saturday, and I was like on the edge of not being allowed to go back to Singapore to actually you know enjoy my weekends, because I was like told I might be scheduled to be doing this thing called guard duty, or just to put it in a simpler perspective, taking care of the camp over the weekend. So I almost got that, but thankfully I got away with it. So I went home, and then the next day was Saturday. The concert was like somewhere like on the edge of the map of Singapore. It was like a very secluded area. It's a big secluded area. So yeah, we had to took like a cab to go there, and then like we had to like form like a big line, and it was like scorching hot. And then upon entering, I would say that was the most violent concert I ever attended locally in Singapore. And then when Metallica came on, I think the first song that they played was, I think, not Phantom Lord. I think it was Whiplash or something. And then the crowd just got super insane, dude. I almost got crushed in the crowd. Well, that was like one exhausting show, I would say. I think it lasted about 2 hours. So yeah, I suffered like a major whiplash and back aches, and then the next day I had to return to camp. So that was the most adventurous concert, I would say, by far.
What is your favorite ghost story from living in Singapore?
I have like a lot of ghost story to share with you, but I think if I have to pick one, it would be this classic story where there will be this urban folklore of this old lady who will actually go door to door to your household and just like knock on the door to sell snacks, like traditional Malay Muslim snacks. And then there's this folklore that say that if you open the door, and then if you don't buy the snacks from her, she would actually like send like this ghost or like phantom. So it's called the Pontianak, which translate is like a witch. It's like a witch slash ghost, phantom, some sort of thing. That is one variation of the story. The other variation, they mentioned that if you buy the snacks from her after she leaves your household, your snacks would actually have like worms or maggots on it. So yeah, there have been like many variations of this story. At the same time, there have been like false accusation, because like there are like Malay ladies or old ladies that are selling snacks door to door to actually make ends meet. But because of this story, unfortunately, people are not opening their doors and trying to help out. For me, on the other hand, I kind of try not to believe in these kind of stories because like I want to help out and try to contribute to this like old ladies or like these people who are trying their best to actually make a living. So I'll just like buy like some snacks. I think it will cost like about if you buy three packets of it, I think it costs about $10. I mean, some of the snacks are nice. Some of the snacks are nice, and it goes well when I'm like watching a movie at home or something. So yeah. So what I'm trying to say is like, try not to believe in like urban folklore and like try to be kind and nice to each other, especially in these times of COVID. I believe everybody's trying their best to make ends meet. Apart from like just actually condemning or accusing this lady to be a ghost or a witch, why not you just open your door and like support them in like just buying a snack?
Final words.
Oh, final words. Okay. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sheikh Spitfire from Witchseeker and we're from Singapore. We just released a new album called Scene of the Wild that is available on Dying Victims Productions. Get them now or play it loud at your household. So stay safe, keep it wild, keep it true, and stay metal.
Thank you. This has been an interview with Sheikh Spitfire, singer for Witchseeker, on Sunday, April 4th, 2021, by Nick Perkel.